Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be working with strings and numbers in Python 3. Hope you guys enjoy and learn some file called stringsandnumbers.py. First, let's start with learning what numbers really are. So Python has two types of numbers, integers and floating point numbers. It also supports complex numbers, but we'll talk about that another time. So first we want to define an integer, say. We can use code like the syntax would be something like, so the variable that we'd like to call, let's just say num, and then we'd say equal to as the operator, and then the number or the integer we'd like to assign to that variable, let's say 4. Then we can just do print num, and then we can see what happens. Okay, so it took a little while. It's been our first time, so everything has to reload up. So here we have printed out an integer 4, and that's because we just assigned that integer value to the variable num, and then we printed out num. Alright, so now let's talk about floating point numbers, or more simply floats. So let's say we have a variable called num1 and we assign it the integer value of 7. So by default it'll print out the integer value. It'll print out 7. But if we want to declare it as a float, we can do num1 equals float 7. And then we can do print num1. Alright, so here I'll say 7.0 because floats take on decimal points as well, unlike integer values. So that's the difference between floating point numbers and integers. Now let's talk about strings. So strings are either defined by a single quote or double quotes. Let's say we have a variable called string, and we can say either, let's just say CodeUp, and we can also do string1 equals CodeUp. Let's do print string1 and print string. As you can see, they both print the same output, but the difference between the two, let's say we had a variable, just say sentence equals, here we want to use double quotes if we want to say, for example, my name is CodeUp, because here we're using single quotes inside. So here we'd like to use double quotes. Print sentence. Because, so here there's no errors, but if, for example, we use single quotes here and here, this would prompt us with an error message, invalid syntax. So we've talked about how to assign values of integers, floating point numbers, as well as strings. But say we wanted to assign multiple variables, multiple values, but it's a lot of them. So we don't want to be here, 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 you know, like, oops, didn't mean to do that. And then an easier way would just be, say, num1 equal 4 and 5. So this way we can do print num1. Here we'll print 4 and 5. And this is the same as saying like that, but it's more code efficient. It's a term I like to use a lot, code efficient. And also beginners like to make the mistake of, here, let's do another example. Num equals 5, string equals hello, So beginners are like, oh, let's just add the numbers together or the variables together, see what happens. Say print num plus string. See, this does not work out, and the reason why is because you cannot add different values to each other with different like types. So this is something called an int type, which stands for integer, and this is a str type, which stands for string. Alright, now it's time for the exercise of this video and to see what you learned. So this is what you're going to have to do. I'll type it on the screen for you. The target of this exercise is to create 3 types of variables, each with 3 different types of values. One is going to be float, let's call it float, and then 2 is going to be int, an integer type, we'll call it int, and then third we're gonna do a string type, let's call it str. Alright, so you need to create 3 of those variables and assign 3 values to them, and then comma, print each of the variables. Alright, so here, that's the exercise. So take your time, think of how to do this, pause the video. Alright, so now let's find a solution. So we're trying to create 3 variable types, 3 different values, and then print them. So the variables are float. So let's give it a float value, float 4.0, or just actually 4, because it's a float type. So we can't just say float equals 4 because it would just default to int type. Then we're gonna do int equals 3. I know we don't have to do int 3 because it's already defaulted as 3 because, or as an int because 3 is an int. Then str is equal to hello. Let's just see that. Now we're going to print float, int, and str. So let's check that, debug and run. Okay, so we have invalid syntax. Why do you think this is? Oh, right. Oops. Sorry guys, just delete that real quick. Oops. How do I? There we go. 4.0, 3, and hello. Alright guys, thanks for watching today's video. Hope you code up today and learn something new. Thanks for watching.
But like I said, man, it's no regrets. We move forward, stay positive, and hope for the best. I'm obsessed, I want it all, dog, and nothing less.